Hey yo, what is going on everybody? It's your boy X coming at y'all with a brand new video, and in this video we'll be covering the Ruby to Amethyst Nick Anderson Evo, which is one of the more complex ones I think in the game. So if you guys are excited, make sure you guys smash the like button down below. It's going to give you a method for steals and for blocks for a pretty easy Evo card that you actually can flip from like 1.5k MT up to like 15k and just keep repeating and make actually quite a bit of MT, which I think is pretty solid. So subscribe if you guys are new, on the way to 10k, all of that wonderful stuff. And without further ado, let's talk about Nick Anderson. So when it comes to a lot of these, steal and block methods, there's a lot of, questions on whether you should be playing certain game modes or go into certain games. And if I'm being honest, when it came to his blocks, I kind of just did whatever I had to do and then put him on the PG, and you'll see kind of the method that it was. But when it comes for steals, there is one really good game that you should do, and it is in the Central Division right here. You want to go all the way back if you've played them, and if not, it's the very first game. But it says Iliosova Triple Threat. This challenge right here makes you go up against, obviously, Ruby Urson Iliosova, but also Ruby Andrew Bogut and Ruby Larry Sanders. All three of those cards are, in Iliosova's case, it's a power forward, but the other two cards are centers, which is pretty nice. It's pretty easy to strip the ball from some centers. So if you're going to be going for steals challenges or anything like that, where you have to get steals for a card, whether it be Evo or anything like that, and you can do it in any game mode, get it done before this challenge leaves, because there is obviously only a few days left in the season. It says 5 days over here, but it's almost 4. So if you are trying to do some of these things, this is the best challenge to go to. Once this challenge right here leaves, I still think that you can do the same method in any other game mode. It's just going to be a little bit harder when you're trying to strip a PG, obviously, than when you're trying to strip Urson Iliosova, because his ball handle is just not great. So generally what I did with a lot of these when it comes to actually playing the game is, when it came to everything else, I kind of just put a card that I was going for XP with. So for example, I need a few more threes with Mohamed Abdul Rauf. I would take Mohamed Abdul Rauf, and then I would go and find Nick Anderson, throw him into the squad. He's all the way down here. And then just have a bronze center to lower the overall just a little bit going into triple threat. And then I would put Kyle Anderson onto the PG and then just get the rest of the XP challenges with Mohamed Abdul Rauf for the offense, because Kyle Anderson is all defense. So that's kind of just what I did outside of that. But for the specific way of how we're going to get a lot of these, I do have a steals method video, which is a full 10-minute video all about steals, how I get them and what I was doing. That one was, I think, back in season 1. So the game challenge that I was talking about doing there isn't going to be there. But anyway, it will be linked in the description down below if you guys want to see it. But I also have clips saved from Nick Anderson's Evo for his blocks and his steals that I'll show you guys. Now, a few of the steals, by the way, will be of Dwayne Wade, but they're still in there and they'll still have some fun. So I'll cut to them really quick and we can talk about them. Alright, so when we're talking about the steals, you guys can see on the screen right now, we do have some clips of me getting the steals. A few of them with Nick Anderson, but with Dwayne Wade. And you can see the general theme of what I'm trying to do with a lot of these. Right there, we just told it from Andrew Bogut, slowed down. But we're sitting at half court with, the L2 or strong defense held, and then also running at them with R2 towards the ball hand, and then pressing square with Dwayne Wade. We're able to get an Urson Iliosova. But the general idea is, you want to have whoever you're getting steals with on Iliosova or on whoever's the PG, and then pick and try to determine what ball hand he's going to be having the ball with, and then you hold your L2 until he gets closer to half court, and then once he's right about at half court, you press R2, and still holding L2, run over to that ball hand, and as you're in the motion, you press square once you get decently close. You can also use the right stick to go for steals, but that's kind of like the general idea of it. You can see with Dwayne Wade right here, there's one clip where I get back-to-back steals in Iliosova. I just go right back to the same spot right there. I anticipated the fact that he was going to be crossing over, just because when you play against these guys a lot, you can kind of see what the AI is generally going to do. And I move to that other side, and what do you know, the behind-the-back happened, and I got the steal. This next one is, you can see with Larry Sanders, with Nick Anderson, I cut off the ball handle, actually, and get right in front of it, and I get the steal pretty easy there. Little bit more advanced if you want to get some of those, but you can do them, and they do work pretty well. Same thing on Larry Sanders here. I anticipate where he's going to be running, get right in front of it right there, and I actually end up getting the steal, which is obviously nice. The next one is obviously Nick Anderson. We're sitting at the half court again, holding L2, and then once he gets closer, we're going to hold R2 as well, and right there we get right in front of the ball hand, and we press square to get the steal and knock it away. And with Nick Anderson, the steals are pretty easy because he does have a super long wingspan, and when you have a long wingspan, it generally helps you to get steals, but that's kind of it. And when you have those poke balls, it usually helps to just let the AI go and get them instead of you trying to go and dive. I've had a lot of times where I run at the ball, I dive, and I just don't get it, which is pretty frustrating. But right there, he runs right into us. You can see somehow we end up getting the ball. I was surprised that we actually got it. But then you can see I pass it to Jeremy Lin and I go along with my XP challenges. And again, it's a little bit repetitive, but we're holding L2. He gets closer. We hold R2, burst towards his ball hand, get the steal right there, and then go on with our XP challenges for that one. So hopefully seeing it a little bit slowed down is nice. Again, if you want a full tutorial on a lot of these, you can check out my steals method, but I think this is enough information with what you got. You can get other steals, jumping into passing lanes and inbound steals, stuff like that, but I think that this is generally just a little bit more easier. It gives you a little bit more of a free hand with it and just helps out a little bit more. So the next one that I want to be showing you guys is obviously the blocks, but there is another challenge that I do the blocks on a little bit. And that one for Nick Anderson was actually the Ursan Iliosova 25 rebounds spotlight challenge. Now the reason I have this one is because Iliosova is actually not in this one. It actually is Darren Williams at the PG. Then you have Sapphire, I think Deshaun Stevenson, and in the center is Brooke Lopez. So what I do is I load into the game and then I put Nick Anderson onto Darren Williams and do the same method, but some of the games that you'll see in here, I'm going against Bradley Beal, J.R. Smith, stuff like that, because I was just doing it in normal triple threat. But this is another challenge where you can guarantee that you get a 6'3" or under PG with Darren Williams on here. So looking at the blocks method that we're doing here, generally what I let them do is I let them get to half court, and once you see the burst of speed, then I follow the PG down to the paint and go for the block. With this one, again, I kind of let him get to the paint. This is after I missed the first block attempt. I let him get into the paint, and almost all the time the PGs are going to try to take that layup, and when Nick Anderson's really long wingspan, it's pretty easy. Here's one where I kind of just got lucky, timing it correctly, and we ended up getting the block on J.R. Smith. But the general steal method is, you'll see here, once they kind of press turbo at that half court mark, then I start to press turbo, go into the paint, and then once they're about to go for the layup, you press triangle and get that block. Luckily, Nick Anderson has some really high tendencies when it comes to block shot, so you will get some pretty often blocks and the long wingspan. On that one, we just got a timed when he was taking the jump shot. But again, he gets half court, he presses turbo, and he starts getting to the paint, and then boom, we smack it away. It's pretty easy, but it does take a little bit of time to get used to the timing of it. Sometimes you will be a little bit too late. Sometimes they're going to dunk on you. But in general, if you let them get ahead, you can get some nice blocks. Right there, that animation happened to me several times with Bradley Beal. That one time I got the steal, or the block, but most of the time, it turned into dunks. We had a few of them on blocks. This was right in the beginning of the game, and I think we have 10-5, and there's one more Bradley Beal block that happens very late in the game because he just started dunking on it all. So try not to get frustrated, try not to get flustered. You can see 8 points for my team who went by before I got this next block on Bradley Beal. It's just kind of how it goes. But the general idea, let them get to the half court line, press that turbo, run right to the paint, and then you can get some pretty easy blocks. But the big thing is not to get frustrated with a lot of these games, with a lot of these steals, because as soon as you get frustrated, you start spamming square, you start spamming triangle, you're not timing things very correctly, and then you mess up the method, because the goal here is obviously to get the steals, and if you're not in, the correct mind space and you're just spamming square, you're obviously going to get a lot of fouls. So try not to get flustered, try not to get frustrated with a lot of these things. It does get annoying. I even got annoyed myself and started spamming square, which is why I'm telling you not to do it, because I experienced it myself, and it just never results in anything too great. But luckily, the reason I tell you guys to pick these two spotlight challenges is because they are triple threat spotlight challenges, and the reason I say to go to triple threat if you're not going to be doing the spotlight challenges games is because the triple threat. If you guys didn't know, obviously in normal games you can get fouled out, but in triple threat there is no limit to the amount of fouls that you guys can get. So you can rack up 10-12 fouls on some of the cards if you literally want to just spam square and then hope that you get some steals. It's a perfect option, and you can definitely do it, which is why I say run triple threat. You can do it in domination if you want, but remember, if you try to get steals too many times, you'll end up getting fouls and you'll get fouled out. And these triple threat and spotlight challenges, if you pick the triple threat ones, you won't, which is pretty nice, because I did have a game where I think I had 9 fouls on Dwayne Wade because I didn't want to do the method and just get steals. So it works pretty well. And again, you can flip this Amethyst Nick Anderson for some pretty nice profit if you want to just rinse and repeat. And you can also use this block method for Kenyon Martin as well, because I think he needs 25 blocks. So hopefully it does help you guys out, and if it did, make sure you guys smash the like button down below. Comment where you guys are on some of your evos and who you guys are using this method for. And make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new, because we are on that road to 10K subscribers. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you get those evos done, and I will see y'all in the next video.